I served as an active duty officer in the U.S. Naval Reserve from 1968 through 1970. I reported to the South Vietnamese Coastal Base number 34 near Ba Tre in the Mekong Delta in January of 1970. That was the lowest place in Vietnam and the birthplace of the Viet Cong, 1 meter above sea level, perfect for growing rice due to the annual deposits of fertile silt from further upriver. Fish and shrimp abounded there. This tiny village next to our base was called Tim Tom, Shop of Shrimp. I was assigned as a military advisor to 2 South Vietnamese Navy officers. When I arrived, first to Ensign Tree, and then later, after I was promoted to Lieutenant Nguyen Tuan. Life was very simple. All I owned fit into a footlocker, and I took showers like this. We patrolled with the Vietnamese in wooden junks and Boston whalers that are used in the United States for bass fishing. We ate a lot of fish and rice, and the uniform of the day was cut-off jungle fatigues and flip-flops. Our mission was to search sampans on rivers and canals in order to prevent the enemy from transporting troops or weapons or ammunition. My team never ran up against North Vietnamese troops, thank goodness. Once in a while, we skirmished with local guerrillas who were not well trained or supplied. Firefights were scary, that is, afterwards, when you had time to think about what just happened. Firefights seemed fair enough, but laying ambushes felt like murdering. I much preferred peaceful missions, like taking basic medicines and a corpsman who would extract rotten teeth with a pair of pliers. All that year I was steeping in an interfaith soup, living among Buddhists, animists, Taoists, and more, dealing with the dread of dying and troubled by having to kill in order to avoid being killed. I was visited one down day by the Spirit of Jesus, and that's how I finally ended up being a pastor. That's a much longer story than there's time for here. In 2012, Alice and I traveled to Vietnam. I wanted to revisit the land where I was reborn. We traveled by a shallow draft riverboat which could tie up to any stump and let us off to explore. We saw beautiful Ha Long Bay in the north, a unique destination which almost every tourist visits. Upon returning, I started a photo sharing group at Flickr.com, where Vietnamese and American photographers have been showing each other what life is like where they live. Through the exquisite talent of this very young Vietnamese photographer, Phan Tuan Can, who lives in Hanoi, I have managed to stay in touch with the beautiful country that changed me. His photos express so much. The weariness in rural life, just scraping by. Suffering inflicted by Agent Orange, the defoliant used by our side to deprive the enemy of cover in the boonies. Tenderness and hope among the young. More than half of the population was born after 1975, the end of what the Vietnamese call the American War. And jubilation in a country that is, after so many years of war, beginning to prosper. I can't say that I'm proud of my military service. I think that our involvement in an Asian civil war was a terrible, costly mistake for our country and several others. But I am grateful that I was born again over there, and that I am now able to see the world differently. I will hold the Mekong Delta fondly in my memory, and I will keep praying for the prospering of the people who live there. And they are now threatened by the damming of the Mekong, which is likely to harm the fishing and the rice farming that have sustained them for centuries.